going on? I'm coming at you guys back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about what's going on in this economy and why it is actually very important, and why I'm going to start just making so many videos and pushing this in front of you guys' faces when it comes to investing and buying assets now. And I'm going to break it down why it's important and what's going on in our economy right now to make it so important, right? I'm going to break it down in a way that we can all understand. Right, so with that being said, why we all need to invest now. That's where we're going to start. Everything around us is changing. Fast prices are skyrocketing, inflation is creeping up, and most people have no idea what's going on or what we are going to do or what needs to happen. The truth is, if you're not investing right now, you're losing, whether it's stocks, Bitcoin, or real estate. This is your chance to set yourself apart and build real wealth. So I'm going to break it down for you so you can take action today, so you can get an understanding of what's really going on. Inflation is when all the goods, all the products, everything just rises. Prices are rising, right? Your wages aren't rising. So what you have to do, you have to put your dollar somewhere where it's going to rise and keep up with the economy. And what we have to do now, and if you don't know what to do, you're going to be left behind. So you have to invest your money. It is actually, it's not something that I'm saying you should do anymore. You have to, or you're going to get left behind. So I'm going to teach you guys what it looks like to invest your money, what it means to invest your money, and why, what I was just talking about. So you can invest in stocks, Bitcoin, real estate. This is the chance right now where, as everything is rising, assets are still going to rise, right? So you'll have a crash, right? You'll hear, oh, it's going to crash, a crash is going to happen, a crash is going to happen. That's no longer a thing anymore, right? Because when the last crash happened around 2008, right, we had a crisis. From that point on, what they did is rig the stock market so that they go up 78% of the time. So we're not necessarily going to have a crash. When everything is rising, if you're seeing it now, everything is rising. The economy isn't even at the best place it should be, but stocks and assets are still going up. People are still making money. Why? Right? Because they have rigged the system at this point, to the point where if you invest into assets, no matter what, you're going to make your money, right? You're going to get a return if you invest into the right assets, right? You're going to have pullbacks. You're going to have times where the market is going to look like it's pulling back and it's going red. And Bitcoin, stocks, real estate, you're going to have those moments, but overall, it's going to pull back and keep going up, pull back and keep going up. So you have to get in now. There's no perfect timing. You're going to actually miss out on all the times if you're waiting on a perfect time, because there's no perfect timing right now. Here's the cost of doing nothing, right? So let's be real. Everything is getting way more expensive. Groceries, healthcare, rent, even the Netflix subscriptions, right? Netflix has gone from $14 in the last few years, and now it's at $21, I believe, right? Inflation is back and eating away all the money, right? Every single day. Even if you go to Starbucks, it doesn't cost the same as it used to be, right? So if you're just saving your cash and letting it stay stagnant, you're basically going backwards, because your $100,000 or your $100 or $10,000 that you're just letting sit around is not going to be worth that in the next 2 to 3 years, because you haven't invested it. It's not keeping up with the economy, right? Because the economy, the dollar is losing its value, right? And things are raising in prices. So you have to put your money somewhere where it's going to grow and grow over time with the same prices that are raising, like I was just talking about. So this is the reality of our economy. The Federal Reserve, right? The Federal Reserve is who is in charge of printing the money and cutting your interest rates, right? So they're printing a lot more money, right? They're still printing a lot of money, and they're cutting interest rates, which means two things. Inflation is picking up, and the value of everything is going up with it, except your cash, right? Stocks, Bitcoin, real estate, gold, they're all on the rise. And if you're not in the game, you're missing out, right? So like I was just talking about, inflation is picking up, right? The value of things are going up, but your cash isn't moving with it, right? Which is why you put your things into assets, stocks, Bitcoin, real estate, gold. They're all on the rise. Let me highlight that so you guys really understand. These things, Bitcoin just hit an all-time high today, I believe, of $94,000, and it's about to hit $100,000, right? Real estate, real estate is continuing to grow, right? Stocks, they're also continuing to grow. I'm on the stock market every day. and stocks are just continuing and continuing to grow. They're not having that pullback or recession everybody's talking about, that crash. No, if we want to look at the chart right now, we're still moving in an up direction, right? So you have breathers. This is where, so last week market hit this high, almost 600. It did hit 600, and now we're back at 590. This is a breather. This could be a time to get in, right? Because we know where the high is at. This could be a time to get in because we really don't know when it's actually going to have that pullback we really want. So dollar cost average, what that means is consistently investing your money when you see price points that are lower than the high, right? So then when it starts to make more money, it starts to have that run up, you're already in position. You're not just waiting for the perfect timing. You are already investing over time and not just waiting for that perfect time. So that's about being in position, right? So as we can see here, everything's still going up, and you guys are still missing out. Click the link in my bio and pay that $1 so you can understand how the stock market works and know what apps and how to invest your money, so you can make that $1 back ASAP and know how to do exactly what I'm talking about, so you can have the platform, right? What's happening? So what's happening right now, what I was talking about, this is called the Great Melt Up, and I got this from this man. What's his name? I don't know what his name is, but this is where I got this information from, and I came here so I can teach you guys the same information, right? So we can all have a good understanding of what's going on, because he broke it down in an easy way, and I just took it and I'm breaking it down in my way. So clear value tax, here's the original video, and this is what he was talking about, the Great Melt Up, right? So what is the Great Melt Up? The melt up is this phase that we're in right now where asset prices, stocks, crypto, real estate are skyrocketing because all the money the government is pumping into the economy. It's basically the everything bubble on steroids. And what the everything bubble is where everything was rising. Everything was already costing a lot. Everything was already on the rise. But this is that times 10, right? So everything is already costing a lot. Everything is on the rise, but it's going to get even worse. And the way we keep up is we have to invest, right? So if all the things that we're purchasing on a day-to-day basis are going to rise, this also means stocks and assets are going to rise. So you have to put yourself in position and buy yourself stocks and assets so you can rise with it. That's how you beat the system, right? That's how you keep up, right? Where are we now? Right now, we're in the phase where inflation is heating up and everything is going up and out in value, right? But this won't last forever. Right now, we're in the phase where inflation is heating up, right? And it's the pre-crisis, right? All the prices are rising, all the assets are rising, right? But we're not at that point where it hasn't hit that times 10 bubble yet, right? So it won't last forever, right? It's going to get worse. This is what happens after the crisis, right? What we're preparing for. So right now, this is the pre-crisis before we get to that point where everything bubbles on steroids, where everything is at a point where it's overbearing. As far as how much things cost. We think it's bad now, but essentially what's happening is the prices that we think are bad now are going to be cheap compared to the future that's really about to take on, right? So the asset prices that you see that are high now, SPY hitting 600 right now, Tesla hitting 300 right now, Apple being at 250 right now, and Amazon being at all these prices right now, this is going to be cheap compared to what's going to be happening in the future. These prices are going to be way higher than they are now. And this is why you need to get in, because right now we think it's high. We're waiting for a pullback. We're waiting for a crash. It's not happening. Okay, the crash is not happening. There's no pullback that's going to really happen. So you have to put yourself in position right now. You're going to see little breathers, little pullbacks, whatever, but there's not going to be a crash. That doesn't happen. That's not going to happen. So invest your money so you can be in position for when the everything bubble, like I was talking about, is on steroids, and everything that costs right now that is already what we think is high is going to be times 10. And to fight that, you have to really put yourself in a position to defend it, right? Putting yourself in a position where you're keeping up in the market that keeps you up with the economy, but then you have to put yourself in a position to beat the market, and that's where I come in. That's where I tell you what companies I'm investing in. That's where we're going to start a portfolio together, and I'm going to show you how we're going to grow this in this economy and still beat the economy, right? So right now, we're going to get into the pre-crisis. Where are we? That was where we are right now. That was the pre-crisis. Now what comes next after the crisis is the post-crisis. Eventually, inflation will get out of control and the government will be forced to step in and try to cool things down. That's when things collapse, leading to hyperinflation and complete reset of the financial system, which we are calling the Great Reboot. So this is where he is talking about how, boom, everything is going to rise. Assets are going to rise. Prices are going to rise. Rents are going to rise. All these things are going to rise, but it's going to get so bad to the point where the government has to step in and put some things in place to cool it down some way, somehow. I don't know how that part works. We can look into that together. But that's when they step in, right? And this is going to lead to hyperinflation. So this is going to lead to things costing, like I was talking about, a lot more, right? Things are going to rise. The cost of things are going to rise way more than they have now. And that turns into a complete reset, right? And then we're going to have a financial system that's going to be different. But what's going on now, what this is, right? Well, the phase we're in right now is going to last a few years, right? So this is not something that's going to happen overnight. The pre-crisis we're in right now, we can still prepare because this is going to last a few years. So invest your money now, prepare, right? And get these assets in now, defend yourself now, because this is going to last a few years. This is also going to come this later on down the line. So we're in that position right now, but things are going to last. It's not going to happen overnight, essentially. So we're still at the beginning. You're not too late. This is why I'm making these videos. We're not too late at all. But what you need to do is actually make it a habit and put yourself in position. So that's where I'm coming in and teaching y'all. So what can you do to protect yourself?